Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 6 of our Let's Learn series for Victoria 3, where we are playing as Serbia, a one-state minor in Eastern Europe wedged between Austria and the Ottoman Empire, and we are on our way to gaining independence, or winning our independence, and uniting the Serbian people. That is our goal for this playthrough, and we have made it to September 1842 so far. As this is, again, a Let's Learn series, so I'm going to put this speed 1 on pause so I can, in fact, no, I'm going to pause because we got to pick the research, but this is a very slow playthrough, guys, for those who want to learn the game. So we're going over every mechanic, probably multiple times, and tracing through every single decision we make and every change we make through all the systems, through the economy, right? So what buildings are built, what effect does that have, what pops does it employ, how does that affect politics, and, in inverse, how does our politics affect our buildings and our economy, and how do we combine all of that to actually achieve our strategic goals, whatever they are, which are kind of something you set out for yourself, really, in Victoria 3. So at the end of last episode, we have researched our first technology, and we actually gunned for a kind of a third era, I guess it's called, I think. I'm not sure if it actually gets measured, but sort of, yeah, third era tech of pharmaceuticals, which let us upgrade our health institution, which we chose to be charity hospitals, as we included our Orthodox Church in the government. And we upped that to another level, reducing our mortality and upping standard of living for the lower strata, thereby maximizing our population growth rate, which is something we've been working on since the start of the game. Now, we've researched pharmaceuticals. What is next? Let's have a think. Now, stock exchange is spreading, and that is a great thing. That is a really good tech, and I will talk about why it is a great tech shortly, but let's pick what else can we research. So we don't want empiricism. Well, in fact, let's have a think. What do we want again, right? So I already said many times, but I'll repeat again, we're going to fight the Ottomans. We need an army. To get an army, we need to pay for an army, right? We need to pay wages, and we need to pay for arms, artillery, and munitions. Right, so we need to increase our budget surplus, and we need to have a big population so that we can tax them, and we need to have a strong industries which we can tax for our economy. So we build up our industry, we grow our population, and we research the text to grow our population and adopted the associated law. Now we need to increase, raise our GDP or grow our economy. So what can help us do that? The stock exchange can certainly help us. In fact, we might as well go ahead and click on it. I'm just thinking technology spread is already spreading it, so we could go ahead, for example, central banking. Banking has recently spread to us, which is allowing us to actually research central banking. That would take 6 years, so quite a while, but it will give us another 10% minting, and I'll explain what minting is at the end of last episode. But effectively, we can print money, to the extent our GDP grows, and this will increase the amount of money we can print without raising inflation, which is not represented in the game. But generally, it's basically this will increase our budget, our budget revenue, based on the size of our GDP, and we'll reduce our loan rate, excuse me, by another 2%. We're not borrowing money; we're actually building up gold reserves, so that maybe that's not useful immediately. So is it worth spending 6 years on it right now, as opposed to waiting and let it spread, perhaps? Now, central archives, something we could pick. That will give us plus 25 taxation capacity, and plus 1 max home affairs institution, which we don't actually have enacted yet, and we don't need taxation capacity. So it also unlocks standardized filing system for government administration, which lets us produce more bureaucracy, and we haven't even have a single government administration, which is something we're going to need to think about if we need one soon. We'll need to think about that soon. So no, perhaps that's not the best option either, although it's both are viable options. Do we want egalitarianism? Not really. Modern sewage. Plus 5 max weekly construction progress, plus 10 land trade capacity. Don't need max weekly construction progress. Again, this is not, how quickly our buildings are constructed, but more how many construction sector can we build, and how many can we crunch into constructing a single building, which at the moment I think sits at 25, and this will increase it to 30 But we only have 12 construction anyway. We can't really afford any more construction sectors, so that's kind of useless for us. Pollution effects reduction doesn't matter right now. Too early in the game. We don't have a lot of industry. +1 infrastructure per 100,000 people, so that would give us another 8 infrastructure, but we're well under cap. All right, let's have a look at Serbia. So we're about halfway, so we're still 50%. It will be important to increase this infrastructure because there's only 2 ways. Either we can collect these bonuses that let us increase infrastructure based on our population, or the only other alternative is to invent railways and build railways. But to get railways, that means we need steel. For steel, we need iron, which we have, but we also need coal. Then we need steel, and then we need to use that steel in motor industries, which just those buildings each will take us a year and a half to build. And then we need to actually make them profitable to build enough. And we need to build a railway as well, and it's government run, and it will put further pressure on our government revenues. It will be a government expense, right? And we most likely will need to be subsidized, and that's why it's government expense to actually produce infrastructure and transportation, which we'll see probably closer to mid-game. So that is not the greatest way to get infrastructure. So modern sewers is something we need to keep our eye on, and that will be something we need to research soon, but perhaps not right now, right? We have some leeway with infrastructure. And as our populations grows, again, we gain more infrastructure, which is great. So another reason to grow our population. Now, under military, now navy, we can forget about. So let's focus on the army. What do we have here? Napoleonic warfare, it will spread to us. So that is fine. It will unlock mobile artillery, right? And that's good. We'll talk about armed forces, our armed forces in a bit as well, because they're currently actually restricted. And because we have peasant levies, we can't actually switch types. So we can't actually switch to mobile artillery, I believe. Higher degree of mobility to allow for quicker repositioning. So that's questionable. This is spreading, so that's fine. I actually said in the last episode, yeah, I think it started spreading. When we were looking at text at the last episode discussing literacy, we didn't have a text spreading in military, but now we have something spreading. We can do percussion cap, 4 years to research, unlocks munition plant. Munition plants lets us build munition from explosives and lead, which we don't have. Explosives are built from an explosive factory, which needs fertilizer and sulfur. We don't have sulfur, we don't have lead in our market, so that's going to be pretty difficult. And we're going to need to import it. So tricky. Not sure it's time. And the reason you want a munitions factory is because you first need general staff, which lets you unlock skirmish infantry, right? Because right now we have line infantry. It's got worse stats, but it only requires small arms and no ammunition, whereas skirmish infantry requires ammunition. So perhaps not quite time. Even if we get these techs, we first of all don't have the tech because we have, again, peasant levies. It doesn't allow us to switch into anything better than line infantry. So we can't even adopt skirmish infantry even if we unlock this tech. And even if we unlock this tech, change our laws from peasant levies. I can have a look, sorry. So our laws, there is army model. Our army model is peasant levies. And that means, among a few other things you can see here, this allows multiple production methods, restricts recruitment of infantry units to irregular and line infantry, restricts recruitment of artillery units to cannon artillery and mobile artillery. Okay, so we can actually make use of that tech with mobile artillery. Restricts recruitment of cavalry units to hussars. Okay, let's go back to research. That's good. I actually got this wrong, so this has informed us. We can actually... sorry, where was the mobile artillery? Was it the shell gun? Hang on. What was it that allowed us? Okay, it's Napoleonic warfare. So once we get Napoleonic warfare, we can actually unlock mobile artillery. So that's fine. But general staff, no point in researching it because, as I just said, we need to change our law. And when we change our law, we need to actually unlock percussion cap after that. And then we need to build the whole production chain of munitions, which is not as trivial production chain. So I'm not sure if it's worth pushing anything in the military department. Let's go ahead. And it basically means that, our economy just isn't strong enough yet to support the military and our ambitions. So why don't we focus on actually growing our economy, right? But in our economy, what can we actually do? Now, Bessemer process is for steel mills. Before we get steel, we need a lot of iron. We could get atmospheric engine. That's always a decent tech to get, but we don't want to switch to an atmospheric engine yet because we still have peasants. All right, let's talk about this. So you see in Serbia, in buildings, if we go to iron mines, we could switch to atmospheric engine. We could produce, instead of 20 iron, we could produce 40. We will have to import coal, but there is enough coal in Europe. I think there's some in Wallachia as well. So we could find a place, a source of coal. I think that is okay. But we would produce a lot of iron with this production method, which would be good, but we don't need that much iron. The price is already pretty low. Second of all, see, a question here arises. Do we change our production method and double our production that way, while also making it privately owned and therefore transferring ownership and therefore wealth and political power from shopkeepers to capitalists? Do we do that, and right, while employing the same number of laborers, right, and producing double the iron, but shifting political power? Or do we just add another iron mine building that uses simple mining equipment, picks and shovels, right? Yes, that seems inefficient, but actually this is the better way right now. Why? Because if we built another iron mine, yes, it would take us a bit of time to build it, some 25 weeks. That's okay. We will produce 20 extra iron, just like we would by just switching the method, but we would also employ 4,500 laborers. And that means pops from peasants would upskill to be laborers. That means their standard of living will go from 6, right? If we look at our population, peasants on average are struggling, right, on subsistence farms. So they would go from 6 to at least on average around 7.5. And if we actually look orthodox in iron mines, yeah, they're 7, right? Now this would actually readjust. Maybe it would pull up the entire average. So we'd put 4,500 pops of lower strata, right? We'd put them up 1 or 2 levels of standard of living, while also making another 500 maybe laborers or clergy or whoever into shopkeepers, 500 of them, right? And these are middle class. They support petite bourgeoisie, which is aligned with the landowners at least, and the church much more so than capitalists who support the industrialists. And so, and the only drawback here, though, reality would be that, as I mentioned before, shopkeepers only put away whatever profits the buildings make. They get dividends, and that determines their standard of living. But they only put 5% of that into reinvestment pool, which lets the private sector build these buildings. Effectively, to us, these buildings come for free. Whereas capitalists reinvest 20%. Now, we saw that we actually have a 50% malice from traditionalism, which is kind of pre-industrial, medieval, almost economy. So actually, our capitalists would only reinvest, 10%, and our shopkeepers reinvest 2.5%. But it's been enough. Like, we don't need that much for this investment pool right now anyway, I would argue. Right? Yes, it's nice to be built faster, but we're not slow, right? And we're going to run out of labor pretty soon anyway, so I wouldn't rush the investment pool, right? Our scope of our economy isn't that great. And so I don't want to research atmospheric engine. I don't think it will actually help us. It will advance us towards railways, but I think we don't need the infrastructure as of yet. We're better off increasing our infrastructure by growing our population as much as we can. One of those ways, which we'll try to tackle in this episode, is to get our petite bourgeoisie to be more powerful, put them in government, and adopt migration, so that we can actually start getting Serbs back to their homeland from the Ottoman Empire and employed gainfully in our state rather than working for the Ottomans. So we have mechanical tools actually spreading here already. That's kind of good. Okay, that might change furniture, but again, that will create capitalists, which I don't actually want to do at the moment. Sulfite piping for paper mills. So it's good that it's spreading. Eventually it will be used for canneries, food industries, crystal glass. These are all kind of nice to have. Fractional distillation, to be honest, is nice to have for food industries. It will allow us, see, patent stills will allow us to produce liquor. Let's have a look at our food industries, for example. Produce groceries, but groceries are cheap. If we were able to do, so this is canning, whereas, for example, even pot stills right now. We'd take sugar, but we'd need to import sugar. Sugar, yeah, that's right. It's priced. It does exist in the Ottoman Empire. But liquor, yeah, it would make it too cheap, so not quite the time. Not quite the time to even produce a little bit of it. And that technology, sorry, just again, the technology would include patent stills, so as opposed to pot stills, so we produce even more liquor, so we don't need that. So we don't need any of these production techs. Now, intensive agriculture on the left here. How about that? Intensive agriculture, but unlock fertilizer plants and explosive factories. Right, so before we even research those, right, the percussion cap tech, which unlocks munitions, which is needed for skirmish infantry, right? We have a long way to go to modernize our military, right? But before we even do all of that, we actually need intensive agriculture to even be able to build explosives factories, because explosives factories need fertilizer plants. Explosives need fertilizer and sulfur. But also these things unlock soil-enriched farming for wheat farms and increased wool gathering for livestock ranches. So we could actually produce more grain. Right, this could allow us for livestock ranches. We could switch, no, sorry, it's this one, increase wool. So we take more grain and produce more fabric, more fertilizer, and a bit less meat. That could actually be a good thing, right? We produce more fabric for our textile. I mean, they're doing fine as they are. But perhaps our population increases. That could actually be a decent tech to get. And the fertilizer, we could then... So we'd use more ute, but we use more wheat. Sorry. But we would then be able to use the fertilizer that we produce now in our ranches to produce even more wheat for our market. And then wheat is a bit expensive, so we could actually... So this is a good option. This will give us quite a few new things that are actually usable, so actionable, actually will provide a tangible benefit to us right now. These are all, yeah, they're nice to have, at least in our back pocket, so that if we do experience a shortage of iron, we could just switch to atmospheric engine. And sometimes, you know, you have to. You're going to have to stomach those capitalists. But these are nice to have in our back pocket. So intensive agriculture is a choice. Military-wise, no. Or central banking. That's what I would say. Central banking and modern sewages. Now, these take 6 years. So let's go ahead and get intensive agriculture done. And then I would do central banking, and then we'll see. Let's go ahead and close that, unpause at a slow speed. Again, we're going very slowly, guys, but we're going over every decision so that we can all understand why we're doing it, how does it further our strategic goals, and how does it feed through all of the rest of the systems. Now, petite bourgeoisie, we need you at 10%. Let's go ahead and speed 3. I think we've talked about everything. We're following everything closely. We need petite bourgeoisie to be at 10%. And then we could try and enact the migration laws. I mean, 8% is pretty low to begin enacting a law. But we have, at the same time, that we've waited for so long that perhaps we should just bite the bullet. Let's build these paper mills. We get 1,000 shopkeepers if we're fully employed. Hopefully that will help us. Let's go and test this out for a second. If we actually reform our government, so again, legitimacy is kind of 100%. We have a righteous government that is reducing enactment time for laws, which is excellent, and give us 33% loyalists from standard of living increases. Now, when we reform the government, that doesn't actually cost us anything. Bringing interest groups from opposition into government doesn't cost you anything and doesn't bring any benefit. Right, you'll notice you can't bring marginalized groups, right? But you can bring any opposition group into government. So if we were to bring them in, it would actually incur a pretty heavy penalty. And the reason for that is twofold. One, size of government, we get an extra 20 penalty to legitimacy. We do get a benefit in terms of clout, because that's times 120. And we do get government ideology penalty. Well, that's because basically petite bourgeoisie disagree with quite a few things we have enacted. So these are unusual bedfellows, so to speak. So we go down to contested government, which makes all opposition interest groups lose approval. Let's go to page 2, speed 2 while we're talking. So it will make all of these lose 2. This is okay because you only activate the negative trait at -5, so we won't activate negative. So this is okay. We do lose the benefits of 33% loyalists from standard living increases for this time being. And we lose the minus 5% enactment chance. So I feel like we're not ready. We're not ready yet. That is a shame. Okay, let's try and get that to 10%. Although, yeah, let's try and finish. Let's try and finish these. And then we just put the petite bourgeoisie in, because right now, basically all the shopkeepers we create continue to be split despite us suppressing industrialists and bolstering petite bourgeoisie. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, petite bourgeoisie continues to only have 8% clout. Come on, guys, 11 weeks. It's another 3 months. I guess we're gonna have to just go ahead with it, because I do want to start helping our Serbian brothers and get that positive migration to add to our population. There we go, we're 8.5. Let's go ahead and add it in. It's a contested government. There's not much we can do. Go ahead and confirm. And by the way, I didn't finish last time, guys, so it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't get any benefit to include opposition interest groups into government. But if I were to press confirm and then again edit the government and throw any of these out of the government, then 25% of groups supporting them would become radical. However, in terms of number, we only have 1.8 thousand supporting petite bourgeoisie. So if we throw them out, actually, it won't actually, it won't radicalize that many pops. But let's go ahead and include petite bourgeoisie in government. It's unfortunate. We'll go to close borders now. Now we can enact it because we have support. No one's actually against it other than rural folk, but who cares? Let's go ahead and start enacting it. All right. Now, you recall last time, the time between checkpoint was... okay, so let's have a think. Let's just pause for a second. So it's 100 days base. Now we get only minus 20% from legislative efficiency, right? And we used to have minus additional 25% from righteous government, which we don't have. So, okay, we'll take 75 days. So you can see this law is harder to pass. It takes more time between checkpoints, and every checkpoint we only have 8% chance of success to pass to the next phase and 17% chance of something positive to happen, which is always double the success chance, and we have 74% chance of debate, which will give us an event where we're going to have to pick something. Now, interestingly, so in terms of our authority, we're using 200 to suppress industrialists. We're both, yeah, we kind of have to keep all of these, and we want to keep road maintenance. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that. So unfortunately, we lost 5% of enactment time because we are actually using quite a bit of our authority. And we're only 80% in excess. So we see we're 700 is what we're spending. Interesting. Effects from 80% excess authority. Generation higher than usage. Yeah, okay, so 700. So yeah, we're only up to 80%. If we were at 700 surplus, we would have minus 25% enactment time. But we can't cancel any of our authority kind of actions because we don't want to lose the construction speed and infrastructure from road maintenance. And we don't want to start suppressing industrialists and bolstering Orthodox Church and petite bourgeoisie. Hopefully petite bourgeoisie gains. There we go. It is gaining in clout as we... Oh, maybe we're building. And you can see we're actually passing a law that's making them really happy. Right? So maybe that is attracting people. No, it's actually, no, it doesn't have any effect on attracting people. So you see it's down to 8.4. Hopefully now our, trade centers have, so urban center, sorry, has expanded. This is because we've built a new building, paper mills. And if we look at modifiers here for the, if we look at northern Serbia information, we'll see urbanization is currently 218. And every time we pass, 100, so next time at 300, an urban center will be created. And you see, this is an urban center, which automatically appears when there is enough urbanization in the state. One level of urban center is created for each 2 urbanization in the state. 1 level for 2 urbanization in this. Okay, so it's 200. Yes, okay, 1 for each 2. Yeah, so basically 2 urban centers because we have 200. And who do we employ here, right? So we just created, another 5,000 jobs. Most laborers, clerks, shopkeepers, and clergymen. So hopefully, no, they didn't. They all are supporting various interest groups, but not what we want them to. Okay, we're up to the first checkpoint. Ooh. Discord within the Orthodox Church. Advance event for enactment of migration. An influential faction within the Orthodox Church has grown frustrated with their co-members' neutrality on the topic of migration controls. Themselves in favor of the law, that's good, they have now resolved to form a separate political faction intent on passing it. How can you all stand idly by and watch the world pass before your eyes? Have you no sense of honor or duty to your fellow man? I say nay to such lack of ambition, and I dare say I am not alone in this. Perfect. So our choices are with their support, the bill shall pass. Perfect. 15% enactment chance. Excellent. Orthodox Church gets members flight, minus 5% interest group pop attraction. For the petite bourgeoisie, extend an open hand to these mavericks. 10% success chance, minus 15% for Orthodox Church. Now, let's go with their support, the bill shall pass. We can lose a little bit of pop attraction. I think that is okay. Unfortunately, our trade route with Austria has been suspended because hostilities seem to have broken out between Austria and Ottoman Empire. Which, let's have a look. Yep. So we went with 15% extra success chance because we started with 8, so we want as much success chance as we possibly can get. Now let's have a look. Prussia versus Austria. So it's Prussia versus Austria. Prussian allies are Hohenzollern, Hesse-Kassel, Mecklenburg, Strelitz, and the Ottoman Empire, whereas Austrian allies are Krakow. Oof. What is it? Propose a peace deal, unpressed war. So German leadership forces Austria to renounce their ambitions to unify Germany. Okay. Conquer Tyrol. So Prussia wants to have the German leadership. They want to conquer Tyrol. Where is Tyrol? Oh, okay. It's basically Austria. Okay, like okay, not quite Austria, but Eastern Austria. So just below Munich. Okay. What else do they want? And humiliate Austria. Whereas Austria wants force Russia to renounce their ambitions to unify Germany, conquer Silesia, humiliate Prussia. Alright. Okay, there we are. 100,000 dead already. 60,000 wounded on both sides. Okay, the Ottomans are squeezing Austria. Oof, Austrians actually made some advances. Haven't they? Bosnia. Yeah, occupies 100%. Okay, so Austria. Hang on a second. I think it's a bit early for us to get involved. Let's resolve this debate event. Okay, so this is could be good, could be bad. The suggestion of migration controls has caused debate among the Orthodox Church about whether immigrants will share the uniquely Serb religious sensibilities. Even if they are Orthodox, who is to say what strange foreign rites they might bring with them? A bastardized Orthodox faith stained by folk practices from their homeland. What will happen to our own traditions if such things are to be accommodated? Okay, so perhaps we can place some restrictions to prevent this. Ooh, minus 15% enactment success chance, considering religious immigration restrictions. No way. We should accept immigrants who do not practice their faith as we do. So we get plus 15 enactment success chance, and we get minus 3 interest group approval for 5 years. Oof. Tough choice. Minus 3, so we'll be at 11, and we need to at least 8 to keep be fruitful and multiply. We're gonna have to take this. That's good. So our success chance is now up to 35%. Oh, petite bourgeoisie is at 5. Oh, no way. Why is it declining so much? Even though we're bolstering it. It is right, but I guess just how it is. Guys, you see, like, pops can change. I think one of those events we did, right? I think it did reduce that some, like, political attraction by like 5%, didn't it? It's not good. Okay, well, we need more buildings. Produce more shopkeepers and more people who actually like petite bourgeoisie. Perhaps as we employ these, that will help us to buoy petite bourgeoisie with these food mills here. Well, let's see. Let's just see what happens. I believe if the interest group is marginalized while in government, they will remain in government. So that's fine. They can't be kicked out of government, I believe. So we'll keep enacting the law, so that's good. And all we really need from petite bourgeoisie right now is their help in passing controlled migration. But interestingly, Austria is pushing on the Ottomans. It would be nice to... the unfortunate thing is that the way this war broke out was by a diplomatic play. It must have been somewhere here. So we should have perhaps declared... Even if we declared... We should declare actually an interest in Danubia, because if Russia makes a play for example, Dobruja, right, then because we now have an interest in this strategic region of Danubia, then we'll be able to side with certain countries and maybe add to war goals, I think, as well. So we need to kind of be here in case Russia attacks Ottoman Empire, then we could join them, because right now, I think the play must have been in South Germany, right, because it's Prussia who initiated it. And they made a play. If we had an interest in Southern Germany, we would be able to side with Austria, but there's no reason for us. Like, we couldn't have possibly known that. But we could have sided with Austria and maybe in exchange for example, returning Southern Serbia. Now, could we join their war? Diplomacy. Can we? No, we can't join this war anymore, I don't think. I think war has been declared. Non-negotiating participants. I'm not sure if that's actually possible. Annex subject. Yeah, we're not even independent, so we can't demand to return state. Yeah. We could like make a play for independence now while the Ottomans are at war, preoccupied, you could say. But frankly, not sure that's a good idea. We'll see. Okay, let's just unpause. See how this develops. The Austrians are pushing the Ottomans back. Somewhat of a stalemate with the Prussians. Okay. But it's a little too early now. We just started the game, I don't think. The Austrians... They even got Montenegro now. They're crushing. Why are they crushing? Crushing the Ottomans so bad. Maybe they just need to transport their troops, I guess. They didn't expect the attack. Political movement to enact colonial exploitation has disbanded. That's good. Improved relations with Greece broken because relations are at 50. Okay, another battle. Okay, yeah, there's only one battalion of Turks here. So they're just crushing them. Hello, Ottoman Empire, where are you? Danubia interest activator. Yeah, so it takes a bit of time. Right, conduct diplomacy, create trade routes with countries in the Danubia region. Fine. But while hostilities are in place, because we are subject of the Ottoman Empire, I guess and therefore we're part of their market, they immediately embargoed, because you immediately embargo the nation you're at war with. Didn't put us into war because we're only a protectorate, so we're actually fully autonomous. We only have to contribute 50% of our convoys, which we don't even have any, which are basically ships used in trade routes. We'd have to contribute 50% of those to the Ottoman Empire if we had any. And that's really it. Otherwise, there are no other restrictions on us. Okay, they got Albania, Montenegro, and Bosnia already. Okay. Petite bourgeoisie cloud has just fallen off a cliff. Oof, Orthodox Church. Ooh. Okay, this is not good because Orthodox Church is now 19.5%. They're still powerful because see, so while their cloud is above 20%, you need to get above 20% to activate it. But on the way down, you actually have a bit of grace, kind of little leeway that you have to be at 18%. Once you breach 18%, then Orthodox Church will deactivate the doubling of effect of the birth rate. So we can't do that. It needs to go back up. Okay, marginalized groups. Okay, these are marginal. So who's... Don't understand why the landowners are so powerful. Migration controls are successfully pressed to their consideration. Excellent. Excellent. Oof. Okay, southern Serbia is also occupied. Increased investment in health institution. Increased to level 2. Perfect. Nice. That is what I'm talking about. And the growth rate is now 15%. So we're getting 10,000 extra pops every year. So that's 2,500. About a quarter of them would be working age males who actually participate in the labor force. Okay, so the Austrians are holding off Prussians while advancing on the Ottomans. Interesting. Let's see. Let's see. Meanwhile, who is gaining political clout? So, political clout, rather. So, landowners are kind of okay. Landowners are on the rise a little bit. I mean, Orthodox Church, okay, back to 21%. Military is losing. Intelligentsia is kind of losing. Why is this kind of all over the place? Okay, industrialists gaining. And industrialists and rural folk are kind of gained a little bit. And industrialists gained a little bit. Politics. But the good news is actually, if we look at our average standard of living has risen for the lowest strata to 7.7, right? With the enactment of the institution of charity hospitals, right? So we're getting plus another half, so that's now 7.7, which undoubtedly increases the pop growth rate, of course. Right, and for the lowest strata, the most popular strata, look, our GDP is soaring. It's perfect. Things are good. Things are really good. Austria is holding off Russians. Oh, Austria, where are the Ottomans? Surely they have a military. Right, guys, it's time to mobilize. A new political movement to enact poor laws has formed. Support medium, radicalism low. Okay, let's see if that happens. Okay, but in terms of our buildings, so we're building furniture manufacturers, right? Oh, law debate success. Ah, okay. Has been debated in political spheres with a positive outcome, increasing enactment success by 10%. Okay. Well, it's not a setback and it's nothing bad. We just have to wait another 75 days for another checkpoint, but we're at 44%, so that's great. That is really, really great. If that happens, we should get a fair bit of migration and begin our unification of Serbian people. Kind of in an unorthodox way, sorry. But nevertheless, it's a start. We're less than 10 years into the game. We're only 7 years into the game. So that's fine. Here's our construction. We're building furniture manufacturers and then artillery foundries. Again, another cornerstone of our military and our bid to gain independence and unify the Serbian people. What else? Okay, our private sector is building even more paper mills. Oh no, it's still the same one. So we built one ourselves. So they, remember, only get allocated 25% of our construction. So they're building this whole building with just 3 construction, right? And it's 600 construction, right? And they get 3.6. So not unsurprisingly, that's taken a while. Yeah, our budget is fine. We're still getting loyalists. Loyalists by profession. Laborers, peasants, shopkeepers. So lots of loyals, right? Effects of loyalists on interest group approval. Well, so everyone is happy. That's great. I guess that boost from charity hospitals really made everyone quite a bit happier. So 1/8, 12.5% of our population is loyalist, right? And only 400 radicals. So everything's great. Unclear still to me though, however, why are petite bourgeoisie not attracting more people? Right, shopkeepers in general, 42% support petite bourgeoisie, 23% support Orthodox Church, which is also bolstered. But we need it bolstered because we need it at 20%. Right, it's struggling to keep at 20%. We need landowners, right, to kind of decrease the power of landowners, right, and effectively unlock that political power for it to flow into other interest groups. That will only happen over time, I guess. Law progression to adoption. Excellent. Migration controls has successfully progressed to the adoption phase of law enactment. Excellent. Ottoman Empire. No. Okay, nothing has actually changed hands. Oh no, they have Prussians. Ooh, Prussians have broken through. They have broken through and are taking parts of Bohemia. 12%, and they're taking parts of Moravia, while the Austrians are pushing on Constantinople. Interesting. Okay, let's keep watching this. Okay, we have plenty of infrastructure, plenty of taxation capacity. Now, actually, our bureaucracy, as you can see, actually, we're now not only 92% excess bureaucracy. Oh, okay, I think they signed peace with the Ottomans for sure. Didn't take anything. I think it just kicked them out of the war. So now they will turn around and beat back the Prussians. Interesting. But yeah, guys, in terms of bureaucracy, so you see, so as our population grows, we need some bureaucracy to manage our population. So we're spending 27 from 861 people in one incorporated state, minus 20 from institutions, right? So that's also, we spend 10 to actually upgrade our charity hospitals to level 2, our healthcare institution, minus 10 from generals. We had that before. So actually, and we're now that we're only 92% in excess, because we're spending 57 but producing now excess of 52, we're going to get 9.2% construction efficiency. So that means we could actually go ahead and just build a government administration, which will produce bureaucracy, some extra taxation capacity. It's not necessary right now. It's not a massive malice, but let's just future-proof ourselves. Get some taxation capacity, get some bureaucracy, because we might have other institutions. There are some events that sometimes give you kind of a malice, like -5 or 10% that you have to spend, for example, to increase, for the kind of cost of increasing enactment success chance. So it's good to have some headroom. So let's go ahead and give ourselves government administration, and again, it will increase our construction, and it will make peasants into who is the workforce here? Clergymen, clerks, aristocrats, and bureaucrats. Perfect. So middle class. So not a bad building to build at all. In fact, I'm even going to go to buildings, construction, and we'll just see. Sorry, quickly. I will actually build government administration before artillery foundry. But law debate success, okay, has been debated in political spheres and with a positive outcome, increasing enactment success chance by a further 10%. Excellent. Industrialists have become influential. That means they've moved out of being marginalized, and they're out here now. So they can be brought into government. That's one thing it means. Second thing it means, so their clout is about 5%, means they've moved out of being marginalized into opposition, means they can be brought into government. That's one change. And secondly, their loyalty bonuses is now activated, which is actually good for us. So I get plus 10% production research speed, and plus 10% capitalist investment pool contribution efficiency. We don't have any capitalists. And here we are. Napoleonic warfare unlocked. Napoleon revolutionized warfare, emphasizing the importance of properly utilizing artillery. Okay, now unlocks mobile artillery. Excellent. So we upgrade our artillery. But the 10% bonus to production research speed, which is engines of progress, behold the marvels of the modern age. There is no time for hesitation. If it can be thought, designed, and patented, it should be built, tested, and put to immediate use. So it's a good. Now, stock exchange unlocked. An organized, I'm going to head and pause actually here quickly. An organized market where stocks and bonds can be bought and sold, and the stock exchange is an essential element of the modern market economy. This is a very big change. It is an excellent change because we get plus 10% market access price impact, and we get minus 25% trade route bureaucracy cost. Now, our trade routes might have come back on. That is actually interesting to check. Markets, trade routes. Yep, we are back to exporting some wine. Not 110, unfortunately, but it takes time for these to grow. Perhaps it will grow back to 110. That is, perhaps that's why. When the war started, guys, trade routes were suspended, and when trade routes are activated in the first place, trade centers get created. So, and when the trade route got suspended because of the war between Austria and Ottoman Empire, trade centers got shut down. And that means we lost 1.7k shopkeepers. Right now, we've regained them, but sadly, they seem to have all joined the industrialists rather than petite bourgeoisie. No one likes petite bourgeoisie. Interesting. Supported by shopkeepers. Let's see what's going on there. So our, even though we're bolstering, I don't get it. That is odd. That is actually something I'm not understanding right now. Why? We'll have a look in a second. But stock exchange have been unlocked. Let's go ahead and unpause. I'll put it as speed 2. So minus 25% trade route bureaucracy. So that's fine. Give us a tiny bit maybe of bureaucracy back. But 10% market access price impact is great. Why is it great? Okay, empiricism is being unlocked. That's also another great tech. But if we look here, for example, let's look at our tools. We can see anywhere we click, the tools have sort of a certain price. And in fact, our price is 40.3, right? But the price in Ottoman market is 50. So if we could sell this at 50, obviously our building would be more profitable, right? That would pay a higher wage, have more dividends, make our pops wealthier, and have all the effects of higher standard of living, higher population growth, more tax for us and more loyalists, right? That would be great if we could sell it at price 50. Unfortunately, we can't sell it at price 50. Why is that? Because the price is a weighted average of what's available in the Ottoman market as a whole and our local market. Effectively, think of it as, yes, we produce it here, so we know what the price is in northern Serbia. Now, there might be some demand for our tools in Basra, but it takes a long time to travel in between. Or you could say that, there's traders who sort of, that our industry can't just sell into Basra. There needs to be middlemen standing in between here, right? And they buy it at our local price mostly, or give us a slightly higher price, so we sell it to them rather than sell it in our local market. And then they're the ones who take it to Basra and sell it at a profit. Right? But the way the game, and this was introduced in patch 1.5, and the way this is played out in the game is that the price that is used to determine the profitability of our building in our market for us, right? This weekly balance is 30 times tools times this price, less the costs of inputs. But this price for tools is calculated as 75% from market price from the Ottoman market. So we are obviously heavily affected by it. But 25% is taken from local production and consumption in northern Serbia. And we're not going to consume, that many tools just by ourselves, right? Or for example, iron, right? Iron is probably a better example here. We have 3 iron mines, right? If we click on it, we're producing 60, but we're only consuming 10 locally. Right, so if we were in our own market, just one state market, the price of iron would be super cheap, right? We're producing 6 times more than we ourselves demand. So local price is super low, right? But the market price for Ottoman Empire, and we're part of the market, so the sort of within our internal market, the exports are at a really high price. So overall, this weighted average comes to a price of 33, right? And unlocking stock, this used to be 65. That is because base, it is 80, right? I believe. Yeah, I think it's 80, but we get, or 75, I think. Yeah, 75 base, right? We have the Danube River, which gives us plus 5% market MAPI, right? Market access price impact. So we at 80 initially. Unfortunately, we have traditionalism, which is, right, pre-industrial subsistence economy with little central control. That is our economic system. We get minus 15%, right? So that brings us to 65. And we just unlock stock exchange that brought it to 10%. Basically, and if we unlock some more text, we'll go to 100%. And when we're at 100%, we'll use the price of the whole market, which is the Ottoman market in this case. Or, for example, the Austrian market if we join that market, or the Russian market if we join the Russian market. And typically, the prices there in a bigger market are much better, right? Because the higher, there's more demand there. And so the result of unlocking stock exchanges is that it increased MAPI by 10%, means that the weighted average is now more skewed to the whole market price, like the Ottoman market price, which is higher. That means for doing nothing, right? Basically, we're now selling our iron and our tools and everything, all the excess goods we have that we sell to the Ottoman market at a higher price. So all of our buildings just became more productive. And that is excellent. And that is another reason why we should try and get rid of traditionalism. But that needs to happen down the line, right? Landowners are perfectly fine living in traditionalism. And it is serving us well. Okay, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it is a significant impact on our industry, right? It simply makes it more profitable the more MAPI we have, up to 100%. But very, very interesting. Now, back, we unpaused. We are going to build a government administration center to give us some more bureaucracy, and then we'll build the artillery foundry. So that's all well and good. We're passing migration law. Let's go to speed 3. Now, why are our petite bourgeoisie? Interesting. 1.6 thousand people are supporting them. It used to be 1.8 when they joined, but the cloud has dropped. Why? Because from wealth, right? Wealth 9. So it's wealth of these pops have dropped. We have peasants. So these shopkeepers, so urban mills. Food industries. Okay, 14 became unemployed. The ones in food industries are impoverished. They have 10 and the minimum expected is 12. Okay, we now have migration controls. Pause. Only people of cultures and religions not discriminated against may migrate. Yes, discriminated pops disallowed from migrating, but everyone else can migrate. Change from closed borders. Excellent. Now, we're going to go ahead and pass a decree that's called Greener Grass Campaign. I put that in Northern Serbia. Now, what does that do? If we go to Northern Serbia, population, let's now unpause and watch. If there are pops that are unhappy in the Ottoman market, they will migrate to us. There we are, plus 4,000. Excellent, 4,000 annual projected migration, 4,000. That's an extra 0.46 effectively population growth, right? So we're now growing at 15% from our pop growth, plus even more now, another 1% from migration, right? So let's see what we have. 8.6 thousand new pops from migration, and we have 10,000 from natural birth. This is big. This is really big, and we're going to go to our government. We're going to go reform this government. I'm going to kick out petite bourgeoisie. We're going to confirm. It will radicalize some of them, and we will see that here. We'll see we have this unfilled political movement of poor laws, which honestly, I mean, I don't even mind passing it. Who opposes it? Landowners oppose it. Okay, their approval will go from 10 to 5, so we will lose 20% aristocrats investment pool contribution. Okay, that's fine, but I don't want... Let's go ahead and pass it. We'll help our people. We're an autocrat. We got to take care of the people. Industrialists endorse this change. Landowners oppose it. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and try and pass it. Since there is a movement, let's placate it. We don't want these radicals. It doesn't look like it's going away. So our peasants, right? 200,000 people and 300,000 people, laborers and peasants, came to our king and petitioned him. He's an autocrat. He's all about the fatherland. And this is a way to show... this is a way to show them that, you know, we care. We hear you and we care. Okay, noblesse obligée is inactive. It's a shame. Family ties. Okay, we still get 20% influence. Okay, let's quickly check. Can we actually do something with our influence? Try to improve relations with 2 Sicilies, Moravia, why not? Even improve it with France. Who knows, maybe they get into an altercation with Ottoman Empire and we can get on their side. Montenegro. We're already cordial. Let's go ahead and do it, why not? We have the influence, it's just so we're just improving relations with everyone we can. It will max out at 50 and it will just drop, and so that's fine. Now, okay, we have a few more minutes, so let's go ahead and keep going. Nice. This is what I like. Another 1% growth, population growth. This is huge. All right, this is manpower for our soldiers. This is labor for our industry. This is tax base for poll tax, for income tax. This is GDP growth. Population growth is everything for a small kind of one province minor, and we're achieving our goal of helping our fellow. I wonder who is. Oh, it's actually Bulgarians that are migrating. Interesting. Okay, so there we are. Oh, middle strata. Why are they middle? No, come on, they're not middle strata. They're peasants and laborers are migrating. Okay, some of them are Sunni. Tiny number. Well, let's keep looking. Backroom dealings exposed. Stall event for the enactment of poor laws. Wow, it's already been. The landowners actually already stalled this law once, right? Probably about 6 years ago. Let's see. Prominent members of the industrialists, outspoken supporters of poor laws, and close allies of Zvezdan Dapchevich have been exposed in a corruption scandal, having changed political favors for personal gifts. One aid was all it took. One boy squeezing acne from his face in the right place at the right time to overhear the howling laughter, smell the rich tobacco blend, and spot Zvezdan Dapchevich's new golden cufflinks. One honest fellow's word to the right ears, and it was all uncovered. So, such is the nature of politics. We get minus 15% enactment chance. Zvezdan Dapchevich. Ooh, he's actually head of industrialists. Okay, that's interesting. He gets minus 50 popularity. That will attract far fewer popes to industrialists. Well, currently it's 7.5% cloud, so I don't understand. Where are all our shopkeepers? But we don't want to get 15% enactment chance penalty though. Minus 10% enactment success chance and minus 5% bureaucracy. That's what I talked about. Sometimes you can get a penalty. That's not good. Throw them off the wolves. We must clean up this mess. Or Serbia gets the benefits of corruption while poor laws enacted. Plus 10%, sorry, minus 10% enactment chance. Minus 10% enactment time. So, okay, so the time between checkpoints decreases. Enactment of poor laws in Serbia gets 1 setback. And Serbia gets dealing with corruption for 5 years, minus 2% bureaucracy. We can derive some benefits. So, should we risk 1 setback? Last time we got 3. Surely we're not going to get any this time. I'll actually risk 1 setback. Let's just get this over and done with quickly. I think that's worth it. I think. I would love to make this guy less popular, but I didn't want to decrease. Yeah, taking 15% success. 10% I would have taken it. Alright, but at 36, I just want to get this thing done so that we gain a lot of loyalists. This will be good for us. Poor laws, we're not going to be actually paying out, I think, a lot of welfare, given, our economy is hopefully only going up. Whereas once we pass this movement and respond to the people's needs, we actually will get plus 78,000 loyalists. So that will be good for us. However, okay, let's just get to 1845. It's Christmas again. I think it's time to end the episode as we're coming up on the hour. Yeah, I guess, well, okay, our private sector is building more arms industries. Okay, maybe we're getting unemployed here, so these are the new migrants, I think, most likely. It's exactly what, so we have 100,000 effectively labor in the bank. Let's go ahead and resolve this event. Public address goes awry. Stalled event for the enactment of poor laws. What was meant as a routine speech about the merits of poor laws by Zvezdan Dapchevich has quickly devolved into a public relations disaster for the industrialist. Fumbling his way through a series of poorly presented talking points, Zvezdan Dapchevich's arguments have been viciously and convincingly picked apart by his political opponents. The question on everyone's lips now is merely if his mishap was due to the inherent failings of poor laws, or can be chalked down to the political incompetence of the industrialists. It is the fault of this poorly thought through proposal. Oh, minus 15% enactment success chance. Zvezdan Dapchevich must take the blame. Minus 10% success chance. Industrialists get minus 10% interest group attraction for 5 years. Zvezdan gets minus 20% popularity. This is a good one. scrap the current draft and make a show of a rewrite. So plus 10% enactment time, minus plus 10% enactment time, and plus 10% enactment success chance. And they also gain 1 setback. Now, we can't afford a second setback. Let's go ahead with Zvezdan. Dapchevich must have taken the blame for this setback. Oh, we'll go to 25% success chance, not too bad. And hopefully the industrialists will lose a bit of popularity in favor of petite bourgeoisie. But here we are, guys. Okay, let's go ahead and just make it to January. And again, Merry Christmas in 1844. Yep, so 1st of January, let's go 1845. There we are, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you're learning. If you're not learning, then let me know down in the comments. If you have any additional questions, if anything wasn't clear, I can go over it again. If you think I'm doing something wrong, also let me know, and we'll think about it together, and I will correct myself if needed, or perhaps we can just discuss. Certain things aren't clear, like I said, I think I mentioned, I think it was in a previous episode, why did we not switch our construction sector to, for example, excuse me, why didn't we switch our construction sector to iron frame buildings straight away, even though we can? I think that's a great question. Why aren't we switching our logging caps still to sawmills? A great question. I can go over that again. Yeah, hope you're learning. If you're not, let me know down in the comments what you think. If you did like this video, give it a like, of course, and I really hope to see you in the next episode. Bye.